Okay. All right, call to order the Emmitsburg Planning Commission meeting. You stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. First order is to review and approve the minutes from our January 27th meeting. Does anybody have any comments from those minutes?
The review and approval of minutes on November 25th. You've got 5 yay. But there were only 4 of us here that night.
I was not here.
That is
Yeah.
correct, yep.
Should be 4.
November 20, you mean review and approval November 25th?
We got it on January 27th meeting.
But that was the review and approval from the meeting before.
That's correct.
I think so.
No, I think you're saying, Dan. It is kind of before you're up.
There's only 4 of us here last meeting.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I think, yeah, you're right. So that should be 4 A, 0 nay.
That's about what kind of.
All right. Any other comments in the meetings? Can I get a motion to approve with the change to review and approval of November 25th?
Second, he said,
All in favor? Aye.
aye.
I'm going to abstain.
Gotcha. All nay, any nay? Okay. All right. Moving on. Do we have anybody signed up for public comment? No, okay. Old business, we're gonna discuss the comprehensive plan at next month's meeting. Okay. All right, new business, number 1. Brookfield parcel C, D, and E improvement plan.
I'd just like to make an announcement that I do have a verbal agreement with the developer to purchase one of the lots. So.
All right,
So the developer is requesting approval of a set of improvement plans for the development of 10 single-family homes in Brookfield along Timber Mill Run. The plan presents overall site layout, utility plans, water and sewer details, grading, landscape plans, etc. And it's been reviewed by the town staff and town engineer, the Public Works Department, Water and Sewer Department, and also the Vigilant Host Fire Company. And their comments have been consolidated under suggested motion. So on February 21st, the developer met with the reviewers to discuss the comments issued by the town engineer, which is Arcane K, in their memo dated January 24, 2025. And based on that discussion, staff has determined that the developer will be able to address those comments in a satisfactory manner. So it'd be best to conditionally approve the plan with the conditions that are listed under suggested motion.
okay. So our previous suggested motion moved to table it for submission of subdivision, right?
Right.
What is the status of subdivision?
I was told that they will submit that soon. Yeah.
Okay. Do any of the
On page 2, you still
Chairpersons.
don't have the fire chief signed on.
That's an oversight. I can add that, and make that change, but I got those comments pretty late too, after I sent out the memos.
So can I ask a clarification question? I'm looking at the original, well, I'm looking at the memo, Planning Commission, February 24th, date February 14th, 2025. And I'm looking at the language here in the sort of the white paper description. And I'm looking at paragraph 2, and it says, the plan encompasses existing conditions and a demolition plan, an overall site layout. What is it that is to be demolished? That was unclear to me. And I did go through the maps and I didn't quite connect the dots. So,
Oh, I mean, the way it is right now, side demolition, earthwork, yeah, that's the
Okay,
word I
all
was
right,
looking for.
so-
Yeah,
we're just going to say that earth's going to be moved on the site.
right.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I guess the second question I have relates to the parcels on the north side of Timber Mill Run, just conversationally.
Mhm.
And I was trying to identify how they're going to manage water rolling off that very sheer hill. And that's something I was a little kind of concerned about, but I don't know if that's in the scope of these parcels. So my understanding from, and this might be off, but my understanding had been there was to be development on the, as you head up Timber Mill, the right-hand side, so the square side of Timber Mill, and that's the bulk of these. But I also thought some of these parcels were on the opposite side, the uphill side, closer to the graveyard.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so is there any water management pieces that are going to be put in the, to pull off the drainage from the steep slope coming from the graveyard? Or will there be any earth movement to cut into the hillside, for example, like a tier or a terracing?
I believe an engineer might be able to better answer that question, but I believe that was discussed, the gravity fed and stuff like that, so,
Okay,
yeah, I don't know if
is the engineer present?
is he? He's not.
Into that hill at all.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a grading plan.
Okay, so the,
Somewhere.
not just the story, just general drainage, not just like event drainage, but overall drainage, because it just strikes me that there's it feels like there's a higher probability of flooding in the basements of those households if there isn't a means by which one can draw away the water. And I didn't see that in that. Maybe I missed it. I am an amateur, but I don't know that I saw that in that plan. Mhm.
Sorry to interrupt, could you go into the slide?
Oh, yes, boy, I should know better too. Are you trying to pull those up? Slope here for the one side. Correct, correct. That's plan. Right. I don't know that I saw that, so. Page 5 or 16. This represents Timberville Drive. What I'm looking for is
On, page 10. Yeah, it goes into
Commissioner Galloway, sorry, you should turn your mic on so it picks up.
Commissioner Galloway, can you turn your microphone on? So I can
lot, lot 8. It shows that this backs up against the hillside there. It shows swales coming around the side of the house going into it. A dry well. Yes, you see that.
Tell you what, you
So
walk down
these-
here and show me on this, because
You got about 6 foot difference. Right, and there's-
Commissioner Hoover, can you turn your mic on, please? Thank you.
Side here. It goes into this one here.
okay, so that's what this represents as a capture.
Yeah, it's a dry well.
Okay, all right.
This house is sitting up, it looks like a 450-foot elevation, right?
Yes.
So the house is raised a little bit more.
Sure, but I guess what I was asking, part of what I'm asking, and that answers part of it, so I'm definitely pleased to see that and that and that for the dry wells. But it gave the appearance that this is cutting into the hillside. So where you see the darker line that shows the elevation
There
of
is a slight
454.
Grading into it right at this point.
Okay, so it does cut into the hillside.
Yeah, but just a little bit, just like a half a contour line. So this
Okay.
is a 454.
456, 2 feet.
Yeah, so it's just coming into it. Yeah, I guess to create that swale around there is why it's
Right.
coming back into it.
Right.
But the real steep part of it still back up.
Right. Okay, so dry well, dry well, dry well, dry well on the side there, capture.
Yeah.
Okay. And now is the dry well a hard fixture, or is it like a gravel layer capture like the swales in Pembroke Woods, or?
I'm not sure the size of it, but it's like a pit in the ground with stone in it. The river goes down into the stone. There might even be some treatment on top. It might have a detail in here. But it's mainly to get the water
Okay.
into the ground.
So I'm okay with it without having to see that. That's good. But- Sorry, but I guess my question is, there are an abundance of them, which kind of indicates there's that the concern about water coming to the back of the households. I guess my worry is that enough? Because it strikes me that the grade behind them, it's below the driveway to the graveyard. That it's substantial, and there's going to be a risk of water flooding those households, because not only do they have the water coming in from behind them, not flooding, but flooding the basement. But also as the slope comes down Timber Mill Run. So
I don't know all the calculations, but they did run calculations on all the flows across there. And that's why they put probably so many in there and
Right.
size them to make that.
that is a lot. Is it typical to have 4 or 3 per household, or?
I've seen 4. I've seen sometimes just 2, but I guess depends on the quantity of water. But yes, it's just probably does have more coming down here. They have more of them there.
Okay, well. That's all I have.
But on this side, I don't know if they have put as many, because you don't have 2 there and here, 2 in that line. It's like only 2, and these have more over here.
Couple on over there in one.
Yeah. Yeah. But up here, this is the nicest one.
Remember that.
Number 7 on the comments from the engineers, coordinate stormwater management review and approval with Frederick County. So it still will have to be reviewed and approved.
So, okay.
Have they done the
No,
review?
no, they're reviewing it now. Yeah.
since Frederick County's not done a review, I don't know who else is not, so this wouldn't be ready anyway.
I mean, they would need our approval first anyway before they can sign off on it.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
Thank you for your help. Thank you.
Any other commissioners have comments, questions?
What was the answer on the fire chief signing off? You taking care of that?
He didn't have any comments.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
You just didn't put the date in yet?
That's right.
Okay.
We have a motion to approve the improvement plan for Brookfield parcels C, D, and E with the following conditions. One, the developer shall address all comments provided by the town engineer as outlined in the RK&K's memorandum, Brookfield parcel C, D, and E review of improvement plans dated January 24th, 2025, as well as any additional comments issued by the town engineer thereafter. Two, the developer shall continue to collaborate with town staff to ensure full compliance with all applicable requirements of the town code and development process. All requirements must be met before issuance of any permits. Three, the developer shall be responsible for paying any fees assessed by the town of Emmitsburg for all reviews or permits required for the proposed development.
Strong motion.
Strong motion, yes. Lots of words.
So moved on the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
I,
Opposed?
Aye, in favor.
I'm gonna abstain.
Same. All right. Is Emmett Ridge 2. Forest stand delineation, forest conservation plan, and preliminary subdivision plan.
We can go over the forest delineation plan first. Number 2 on the agenda. It's basically the catalogs of the site's environmental features. The assessment of existing forest areas is required by the town code section 16.48.04060, and it's an important part of the forest conservation plan, which is the next item on the agenda. It's been approved, reviewed by town staff and town engineer, and the comments are under suggested motion. Also, given the feasibility of addressing these comments, it's suggested that it gets approved with conditions that are listed under suggested motion section in the staff plan memo. Also, it needs to be approved before the forest conservation can be approved, so, yeah. The forest delineation needs to be approved before the forest conservation.
Any commissioners have any questions on forest stand delineation? We talk about the forest credits in the conservation plan, not the stand delineation, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. there aren't any comments or questions, we get a motion to approve with the suggested conditions.
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion to approve the application and move for the forest stand delineation for Emmett Ridge 2 with the following conditions. Developer shall address all comments provided by the town engineer as outlined in the RK&K memorandum. Emmett Ridge 2, review of forest stand delineation, forest conservation plan dated February 11, 2025, as well as any subsequent comments issued by the town engineer thereafter. Item number 2, the developer shall continue to collaborate with the town staff to ensure all compliance with all applicable requirements of the town code and developer process. All requirements must be met before the issuance of any permits. Item number 3, the developer shall be responsible for paying any fees assessed by the town of the Emmitsburg for all reviews and permits required for the purpose of development.
We get a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Thanks, forest delineation, stand delineation. Moving on to forest conservation.
So the forest conservation plan notes that no priority forest areas will be affected and that there's limited space available for the reforestation. The developer intends to fulfill the forest conservation mitigation requirement through the transfer of forest banking credits. And I believe they said it's I can't remember the exact number, but it's either the existing forest conservation bank or a new one. It looks good. There are just a few comments from our reps. And since the forest delineation plan is approved, this is good to go.
Commissioners have any comments or questions on forest conservation?
I'll make the motion to approve the PFCP for Emmett Ridge 2 with the following conditions. Developer shall address all comments provided by the town engineer as outlined in the RK&K memorandum. Emmett Ridge 2, review of forest stand delineation and forest conservation plan dated February 11th, 2025, as well as any subsequent comments issued by the town engineer thereafter. Developer, item number 2, the developer shall continue to collaborate with the town staff to ensure full compliance with all applicable requirements of the town code and development policies. Item number 3, the developer shall be responsible for paying any fees assessed by the town of Emmitsburg for all reviews or permits required for the purpose of this development.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. And subdivision.
So this preliminary plan for Emmett Ridge 2 includes 48 single-family homes along Irishtown Road and Irishtown Drive. The proposed development is in the R2 medium density zoning district. And the Board of Appeals approved a variance request to allow reductions in lot sizes and setbacks for the development. And due to the size of the development and adequate public facilities ordinance requirements were applied, the criteria for adequacy for roads, public water supply, public sewer capacity, schools, and emergency services, they're set in sections 1404.140 in the town code. I can quickly go over the traffic study. The nature of the peak hour traffic at the site required the applicant to submit a traffic impact analysis. The results show that the intersections operate at an acceptable level of service with this development. So There's nothing that's standing out. And then in terms of water and sewer, the town has enough taps available, but they'll be guaranteed if they're purchased or secured through a multi-year tap agreement. The school adequacy test was provided on February 21st, 2025, showing that the project does not meet APFO school standards at the elementary level, but the developer can request the Frederick County Board of Education to determine the viability of redistricting to accommodate this development. And in terms of emergency services, the plan was evaluated by a Vigilant Host Company, and they confirmed that there are sufficient fire hydrants and there are no access issues in the area where the development is proposed. So the code requires that the Planning Commission make the final determination of adequacy based on the information provided. The plan has been reviewed by staff and their comments have been consolidated under section titled Suggested Motion in the staff memo. Staff suggests that the preliminary plan be approved with the conditions listed in that section and give the developer the opportunity to provide the improvements that are necessary to meet adequacy.
Commissioners have any comments or questions?
Just a question regarding the APFO piece related to the potential request for the county to reassign students. What occurs if Frederick County Public School says they will not for re-jurisdiction? Will that prevent this from happening?
So if there is a capacity exceeding 100%, and the project can't continue unless there's a districting. But there are schools in the county that have over 100% capacity, so that's really up to the county. But the FCPS is not gonna approve this. I mean, they don't have jurisdiction over this project, but
Right, I understand that,
But
but
your answer is yes. They can hold the project up.
it could
If
slow
they
it down.
if they deny the capacity for the school,
Right.
then it would be tabled or whatever you want to call it
Mm,
by the county.
right.
Or put on hold. I guess the question therefore would be, again, pushing the county toward rebuilding the school as opposed to getting more portables. I mean, I think that's it would be great to see this development happen. My concern is the quality of what the students receive in the building. And an overcrowded school is not a great thing. Okay, thank you.
I have a question. So what is the phasing of this project? So there is 2 entrances out on Irishtown Road. The current entrance that we're using through Northgate obviously is there. So are we going to be doing these entrances out on Irishtown Road first? Or I don't know I'm trying to figure out what the phasing of the project, of how that affects and impacts.
Joe Ceci with Fox and Associates, the design engineer. So it'll all be built at once. That's the plan.
So it's one single phase.
Yeah. Because you have to move all the earthwork and everything, utilities, everything has to pretty much be done. And the improvements to Irishtown Road. So everything pretty much has to be done at once.
So what's the time period? How long do you think it's gonna take? A couple years?
Hopefully, we were just talking about it, hopefully starting first part of next year. So early 2026 to start the project. I don't think it would be a couple of years. It would probably late 26 would be done,
Oh,
ready to build houses.
year.
The earthwork will be done,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But housing, who knows? They could take
To
very quick.
to
or very
complete it,
very
yeah,
long.
yeah. So to be ready to build houses,
I'm
probably,
talking about completion of the houses.
oh, that depends on how they sell.
Oh, You're not trying to sell them ahead of time?
And with the market now, the market's changing now, so we don't know.
You're not trying to sell them ahead of time?
No, you can't really. Legally, you can't sell them ahead of time until you have recorded lots and it's ready to go. Yeah. So they're not being pre-sold.
So when Brookfield Drive was created and it extended from Timbermill to Irishtown, Irishtown was not an access point for a very long time into the neighborhood because there was concern about sight lines and accidents. Sort of redundant, I guess. Then Brookfield Drive was allowed to exit onto Irishtown Road, but only make a right turn. No entrance still. Then with the new construction of, I guess, the final phase, well, no, the most recent phase of Brookfield's development, Irishtown at the higher plateau was widened to be sufficient for entrance and exit access to Brookfield Drive. Will Irishtown Road be modified sufficiently for this ring road to allow access as soon as it's done? Or is it going to be a closed road until the 50% of the neighborhood's built out or some mandate? I mean, is there a plan to open it, which is what I'm hoping for?
Yes, as far as I know. Like I said, as far as I know, the improvements will all be done up front
Okay,
on Irishtown Road and the development.
okay,
Because you got houses that front, Irishtown Road
okay.
in this development. So all those improvements have to be done.
So will improvements to Irishtown Road itself on the slope also occur during this time with the road work? I'm sorry, with the earthwork.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So will there be sidewalks put in or?
Sidewalks will be curb and sidewalks will be put in on our side of the road. So the Emmett Ridge 2 side of the road.
Okay.
The other side of the road, it's just going to be it'll be a shoulder. It's going to be improved. It'll just have a shoulder until, someday when that other parcel develops.
But there's no houses there yet.
Yeah.
Nothing, right? Okay.
Right.
So Irishtown will be widened. There'll be a
Yes.
sidewalk on
North.
South side.
I guess that's-
the south side. Yes, I should really know that. On the south side, the ring road will be opened before construction is completed, and therefore someone can access it. There are a couple of factors here. I don't want to see the neighborhood corked there if we have a road there, or two roads actually. But the other part is for emergency vehicles, because there's those random events where there's been flooding on North Seaton, and that's been a big bugaboo
Right.
requiring these roads to be created.
Yes.
So they'll be open.
Yes.
Okay, so before construction, they will be open to the public for public access.
They should be. Yes.
They should be. Okay,
Yes, they will be.
okay. I have three people back there nodding yes.
They will be.
Sure, if you come up
They-
and,
So they probably won't have their
Thank you.
top coat. They probably won't have the top coat, but you'll have
Ty-
all this great area on page 5,
Typically, it would be,
just a base coat of paint.
typically they wouldn't come back and put the surface on until the houses are built and they're filing out.
But the whole loop will be drivable.
Mhm.
before
Nick DeCampo, DRB Homes. Thanks for having us. So to the opening of the road, like Joe just said, we'll put a base coat on it. Typically, we won't start building operations unless it's a model home until that road is paved. So you'll have a fully paved ring road before we start actual production building out there.
with public access. though.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Great, okay. Thank you.
Very good.
Bridge at the bottom of Irishtown. Is that going to be replaced? There's a bridge that crosses the creek there at the bottom of
That's-
Irishtown.
That's part of this, isn't it?
Well, I didn't see it spec'd here.
The new culvert.
The existing culvert.
Correct.
As far as I know, there wasn't a proposed replacement of the culvert bridge.
No.
Part of the road widening happens on the northern side of it. But as far as the bridge being replaced, I don't Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't think that was part of the Irish Town Road improvements.
So I think we need to find a way to get that done then, because that's going to be a serious pinch point. With a wider road, you're going to have faster travel. They're going to be braking hard on that because it's
Wait a minute, is the
barely
road-
2 lanes.
Is the road gonna be narrowed at the culvert there, or is the road gonna be widened and you take care of the culvert on one side or the other to make it wider? Are we gonna have like Commissioner Donald just said, a
The,
pinch point?
the lanes will come back to what's exist. There'll be, the lanes will be full width, like all the way down. It'll have to be striped down to the existing road now. So it would be built, a full section and just striped down to the existing.
I would suggest stripes and bollards or stripes and barricades or something more permanent than just stripes, because that's, I drive that every day. And when there's interacting traffic, passing traffic, cars will come down the hill and they will literally cross the double yellow to keep a straight line as opposed to move with the road.
Right.
And if we're making a wider, faster road, I think we're going to see some higher risk of serious accidents. So the bridge thing, that's kind of a concern. I mean, I thought a developer was going to be accountable. Isn't that right?
That's what I always thought.
Yeah, that was.
How much does it change the road? What is the width there now at that culvert?
We are. I'm assuming.
Oh, if it's 24, that's not bad.
Two cars can fit through, but they're into the part of it.
So we're going to have two 16-foot lanes. So it'll be 32 feet
On your new
of
stuff,
pavement on the new road.
okay.
Yeah.
Pitch back down to the existing, where we are.
Excuse me.
When we pinch back down to the existing, we narrow it down. What are we meeting then?
That looks like, it looks like about 20 feet on the existing bridge, the existing culvert.
That's a 10-foot lane then.
Two cars can pass. But
Yeah.
It's the adjusting and the speed that I'm looking at. Because when people approach it from St. Joseph, or when they come down from.
It could
top
be.
of Irishtown.
Because we're widening it to the edge of the existing culvert wall.
Right.
So right now, it's probably, that guardrail is in between the wall and the actual roadway. So that guardrail will come out, actually be put onto the wall, and the road will be widened all the way from wall to wall. So that's probably, I think
about
that's an
20.
So are you
extra
doing
4.5
this?
feet.
Is that being
Yeah.
done by the developer? Is that correct?
That is, yes. Yes.
Okay. Where is that documented? Because I'd like to see that in writing.
So then Joe,
That was part of what was submitted back in last June, when they came for the variance. So when they came for the variance, it was part of that plan.
Okay, so
Joe,
A
what is
sketch
the
plat, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, they did submit a sketch plat, but sketch plats only get reviewed by staff. So
okay,
I totally forgot about that part.
so we don't have that. I mean, we do or we do not have.
We have it, but I can provide that.
Okay,
yeah.
that would be a nice thing to see, just because.
But once it's,
imperative.
it'll also be on the documented, on the preliminary plan on this. So this will also set it,
Okay.
the work that should be done.
Is it, when you say it will be there on this, that means it's forthcoming or it's actually here in our documentation right now?
We show the roadway widening on here,
Okay, no, I see that. Okay,
Yeah.
now that I understand what it's showing, but
down across.
at the creek crossing at the culvert,
Well, I guess we show the pavement replacement across the culvert.
so you're saying you're paving
Well,
the
we-
bridge, or
Excuse me,
you say you're paving I'm calling it a bridge, you're calling it a culvert. I'll go
Same
to
thing.
culvert, but
same thing.
you will be repaving the culvert. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Will you be replacing the infrastructure beneath, like a plastic tube, steel tube, or whatever is there at this time?
No,
concrete?
No, is it? Is it
It's concrete, isn't it? Been doing concrete? It's
Um,
been a long time, but I think it's
Yeah,
concrete.
I think it is. It's a 60 by 48 culvert, so yeah, it's probably concrete.
So that's not going to be replaced. Okay. Just what I see on top of the user conflict is also there's a compression of what I'm assuming is a steel pipe under there. And it might be on the square side versus on the upside. That doesn't make sense. It's on the square side of the bridge versus the uphill side of the bridge. I don't know if that makes better sense.
Would you have to
The
assess the
town side.
liability of that culvert before putting new pavement on top of it? I mean, somebody would be looking at it and assessing its condition, right?
I guess that's not really in our scope right
On
now.
the scope.
Yeah. So I think the idea was to come in, reconstruct on top of it.
Mhm.
I don't know if those get inspected. If anybody inspects those culverts for the,
I mean, I think
the
Frederick
county?
County, yeah.
I don't know if that's on the list of inspections.
It
Okay.
it had been county road. I don't know if it's town road now. I know there was some transition near there, but I don't know if that was part of it.
Mhm.
But could this be added to the scope of the work?
What's that? Replacement or just inspecting it?
No, not,
Anything to be added.
as, yeah.
Professional assessment?
Yes. So did you, has
That would be
Arcane
reasonable.
case anything about the bridge or inspection or concerns?
I don't think so.
I mean, that might be our best thing to have them take a view of to make sure we're not missing something to do the inspection. Have them do it, or Joe, I don't know if you know the condition of it at all, but
I haven't looked at it that closely.
yeah. So I think that's maybe something we just added, that RK&K take a second look and make the appropriate comments and requirements.
I've trimmed the brush there. I've cleaned the kid crossing signs, literally scrubbed them, but I haven't gotten under that bridge. So I can't tell you what.
Actually, I thought it was more narrow than that. If it gives two 20-foot lanes of good quality road, I'm
Mhm.
okay with that.
I don't know if they're 20.
They're 10 foot. He meant 10 foot.
Total.
I'm sorry,
Total.
a 20-foot,
Total.
two 10-foot, I'm sorry, 20-foot
Yeah.
road. I mean, that's what the requirement's gonna be minimum, because they can subdivide 20 foot to width, so two emergency vehicles can go through it at the same time. As long as the culvert's in good condition, or in case buses it. These conditions, and have them take a second look at it. I think it'd be in our best interest. And then if they bless it, me personally, I'll be okay with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other comments or questions, commissioners?
That's it. Thank you.
So the motion was to, not to table, correct? Your suggested motion was to approve conditionally?
Right.
Can we get a motion
So
to approve with the stated conditions?
items 1 through 4, then plus, and then we want to add something about RK&K.
Yeah, just.
So we're not tabling it though. All right, the motion is to accept the preliminary subdivision plan for Emmett Ridge 2. Let me see, I want to read this, I think. So I guess then what I want to do is the motion is to approve the preliminary subdivision plot for Emmett Ridge 2 with the following conditions. Item 1, developer shall address all comments provided by the town of Evansburg as outlined in RK&K's memorandum, Emmett Ridge Section 2, review subdivision plan dated February 11, 2025, as well as any subsequent comments issued by the town engineer thereafter. Developer shall work, item number 2, the developer shall work with the town staff to complete all required components of the APFO application, developers shall continue to collaborate with the town of Emmitsburg staff to ensure full compliance with all applicable requirements of the town code and development process. All requirements must be met prior to the issuance of any permits. Developers shall be responsible for paying for any fees assessed by the town of Emmitsburg for all reviews or permits required for proposed development. And item number 5, as we discussed, would be to have RK&K take a look at the culvert in question and verify its condition and make recommendations or requirements of their findings.
What's the purpose of its viability? Like reviewing its viability. Like its usefulness.
Right.
Are you saying we're gonna require them to upgrade it or just look at it?
Well, what I'm asking is that, what I'm saying in here is to have RK&K, our engineer on this particular job, is to review that culvert and verify its condition and make recommendations, if any, are needed to be added to the project. We're blessed and say it's good,
At whose expense?
but it would be at the developer's expense.
Okay.
That's so that would be part of the RK&K, the town's engineers comments. So, from what I hear here, it sounds like it's a little bit better than what I was thinking, but I think it would be safe. I'd feel better if we could at least have an inspection of it. And then
I agree,
go from there. That's been a hot topic for a long time.
because you're going down from
That culvert.
20 feet wide to 32 or 32 down to 12 or 20, I mean.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I've never traveled the road, but
Well, the 16 has shoulder on each side, so you still probably have, what, a 12-foot lane probably at that 16-foot.
oh,
So you're going 2 feet less, not, per lane, not 6. You're only going 2 feet for the lane because the bridge won't have a shoulder. As long as, like I say, as long as RK&K blesses the culvert and says it's good with what they're doing. Me personally, I'm good with it.
now you're gonna give a time period on when he inspect it?
No.
Our engineer?
No. So this motion will give them approval based on those conditions, so they'll be ready to go do whatever. I mean, they're already working with the town and the town engineer, so whatever timeframe collectively they come up with.
So they have the motivation to complete this in a timely way because time is money.
Mhm. Oh, I knew that.
Try to get development done while the housing market's still good for them.
We get a second. Commissioner Rivers. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. The annual report, do you need to go over it? You want to go over it?
Yeah, sure. Just mention it. Sure, so each planning commission, our board must approve the annual report each year as required under section 1-207B and 1-208C 1I and C3(2) of the land use article. And this has to be filed with the Board of Commissioners and the Maryland Department of Planning. So if everything looks good, I'll just need.
You have a chance to review that report. Are there any comments or questions on it?
I went through it real quick. I didn't. I guess concern me or whatever stood out.
Okay. This is not a voting item, right? Oh, it is a voting item. Oh, okay.
So we have to accept the report.
You have to accept
Or reject it, whichever. Yeah.
A motion to approve the planning commission annual report.
I make a motion, sorry. I make a motion to accept the Planning Commission's annual report for calendar year 2024 as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Do you have any comments from anybody before we adjourn? Does anybody say anything?
We'll probably have an alternate for the planning commission starting next meeting.
Okay.
Would it be possible to get a copy of that preliminary item that was sent that showed their spec for the bridge and their blacktop work to the bridge?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Thank you.
I just have a quick question. Since I live in Pembroke and with the new homes that are going to be built off of Irishtown Road, and I heard mention of a traffic study. So was the traffic study for Brookfield as well as the light at Main Street? Because I can imagine it's going to add a lot of traffic to Brookfield Drive.
So the traffic study did. Let's see. Light at Main Street, Irishtown Road at Heatherwind, and Brookfield Drive were part of the,
And were those traffic studies done during rush hour?
they were
Yes.
supposed to, yeah.
Because Main Street already has quite a bit of traffic at rush hour, so I can't imagine what it's going to be with another 50 houses. Okay, thank you.
Did you want to look at the traffic study?
I can ask if you want to send it.
Any other comments? All right. Motion to adjourn at 7:55 PM.
Someone's happy to go, huh?